to Bedford City Council regular meeting. If you please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Call the roll, please.
Cochi?
Here.
Spinks?
Here.
Janutus?
Here.
Fluharty?
Here.
Smith?
Here.
Asbury?
Here.
Saunders?
Here. Council, you have the minutes of the work session of April 3rd, 2023. Any corrections to those? Seeing none, can I have a motion for acceptance? By Spinks, second by Janutus. Call the roll, please.
Cochi?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes. And you have the minutes of the regular meeting of April 3rd, 2023. Any corrections to that? Seeing none, can I have a motion for acceptance? By Smith, second by Asbury. Call the roll, please.
Cochi?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes. And we have no presentation tonight. Under old business, ordinance number 2023, I would like to remove that from the table. Motion for such by Janutus, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Cochi?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes. Motion for suspension by Asbury, second by Saunders. Call the roll, please.
Cochi?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes. Motion for third and final by Spinks, second by Janutus. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. This CRA agreement is with Cleveland Tank and Supply. For those of you that are not aware, that is a company that's going to be relocating from Cleveland to Tinkers Creek Commerce Park. They're acquiring 5.8 acres to build their facilities. This is approving a 10-year, 70% tax abatement, and they will be relocating. I believe within the first few years, they'll have north of 65 employees at the site.
Yep, that's a good thing. Call the roll, please.
Cochi?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes. Ordinance number 2123. Again, a motion to remove from the table by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Cochi?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes. Motion for third and final by Asbury, second by Smith. Mike, again.
Yes, this is similar, same CRA agreement. This one is between the city and Lakeshore Electric, which is currently located on Willis Street. Lakeshore has, they're in need of expansion. They have no more room at their current facility. They went in front of the Planning Commission, and they're going to be constructing a facility north of 100,000 square feet on roughly 7.5 acres. Within, I believe, their application stated within the first 5 years, they are looking to double their employment and will be over 100 employees. And this is also a 10-year, 70% tax abatement for the new facility.
Good. Call the roll, please.
Cochi?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes. Reports, Mr. City Manager.
Just a couple of items real quickly. The city did notify Cuyahoga County that we are in agreement. They will be coming out. They needed the city's approval, I guess. They will be coming out and doing crack sealing on all of Center Road at 100% Cuyahoga County's expenses. It won't cost us anything. Union Street, they're going to be, it does not warrant crack sealing, but they're going to put down what they call a rejuvenator, and it extends the life of the roadway. And they're going to be doing that as well along Union, not the entire length, but the area that was just resurfaced a couple of years ago. And that as well as at 100% of the county's expenses. The city does have a couple of large projects coming up. One, we have the water line projects on Ennis, water line project on Harriman. We have a pre-construction meeting for those scheduled for Wednesday. So by the next council meeting, we will have notice to proceed date that we'll be able to share and follow our website for those projects and when those get started. The city will also be going out to bid shortly as we're finishing up the construction documents and the plans for Lincoln water line replacement. That is also going to take place this year, but we have not gone to bid for that one yet. And lastly, the large item is Broadway. There's some legislation that we're going to be, council will be voting on shortly regarding the costs of Broadway. That is an ODOT project. They bid this project earlier this year. The bids came in. They were reasonable. I believe, of course I'm talking about it, I don't have my notes here real quickly. Out of the 4 bids, the lowest bid was Shelley Company, and they were at $3,047,272. So that is going to be, hopefully, depending on how the vote goes, that will proceed this year. We have not had a pre-construction meeting for that. It's corp limit to corp limit. It's going to be a challenge, but look for updates on our website, on social media. They will have to maintain traffic, but I'd be lying if I said it's not going to be a challenge, right? They're resurfacing all of Broadway. There's going to be full depth repairs at a number of locations. All of the handicap ramps at the sidewalks, all of those will be replaced. That portion is 100% on the city. So look for more information to come out in the coming weeks as far as notice to proceed and when that project's going to get underway. As far as a schedule of events, the community organizations that have worked to submit applications, as well as community shred days and other community events that has been posted, I believe, on the city website. End of report.
Thank you. Mr. Law Director.
Thank you, no report tonight.
Madam Finance Director.
Just real quick announcement, just a reminder that tomorrow, April 18th, is actually the deadline to file your municipal income taxes, as well as your IRS taxes, but just wanted to remind you of that. Thank you, that's all.
Before we get to council reports, we're going to have a slight change. We were talking in the caucus room about our summer schedule, which on the days snowing, talking about summer schedules. But we're in Northeast Ohio, so that's what happens. The tentative date, well, the dates we're going to meet will be June 5th, because during the summer we only meet once a month, unless there has to be a special meeting that we would call for something special. The meetings will be on June 5th, June 26th, and August 7th. That's the dates for our summer sessions. And we'll start with council with Mrs. Spinks.
Good evening, everybody. This past Friday, we had an excellent turnout for the Bedford Historical Society Speaker Series. It was Rick Becko talking about local Bedford artists, and I was very honored to be included in that group of people. I don't think I deserved it because we have some really, really talented artists from the past and the present. And we have the speaker series every second Friday. It's this year round. The next one will be the second Friday in May, and it will be on Walker China. So it's always at the old church, it's always free. There's usually a few snacks, it's always at 7 o'clock. So if you get a chance to do that, make sure you do that. Ward meetings, Ward 1 and 3 will be next Monday. Is it 7 o'clock or is it 8 o'clock?
7 o'clock.
7 o'clock, and that will be me in Ward 3, Vic Fluharty, so, we'll see you there. If you live in Ward 1 or Ward 3, please come. End of report.
Thank you. Mr. Janutus.
Thank you. I guess spring sprung a leak on us. Congratulations to everyone who got their lawnmowers going this past weekend and got out there and, did some yard work. It was beautiful weather and all. I want to thank you all for doing such a good job maintaining your yards and whatnot. We have a tendency to focus on the very worst yards and fallen down houses, and that becomes our focal point a lot of times, but I think we too often take for granted all the beautiful, charming yards and properties in our city, and all the people who are doing a really good job doing what they can to keep their yards up and whatnot. So I thank everyone for that. End of report.
Thank you. Mr. Fluharty.
Well, I had two things to say, and they both were just said, so, the board meeting, and also just to remind everybody to start taking care of the yards, that's it, end of report.
Thank you. Mr. Smith.
Good evening, everyone. I just have, I have a couple of things, but the first thing I wanted to mention is that the city of Bedford and the 3 surrounding communities, being Bedford Heights, Oakwood, and Walker Hills, will be doing a Juneteenth celebration this year. It's going to be June 19th. It's going to be at the Bedford City Schools at Bearcat Stadium. It's going to be from 5 to 7. There will be food trucks, dance, health and wellness, vendors, voter registration. There will be a few more events there. We're trying to, we will be including the Historical Society, since Bedford was one of the stops on the Underground Railroad, so I think that's a great thing to do. There will be more information coming out and to the citizens. I would like to mention that Wards 2 and 4 board meetings will be 8th of May. In the report.
Thank you. Mr. Asbury.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple reminders. Actually today started the computer and hazardous waste roundup at the Service Garage 100 Solon. This runs through this week, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. to 3 p.m. And the same thing next week, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. to 3 p.m. Check our website for the items that are available to be dropped off. Mike, did we find out if they're going to do Saturday or not?
We are, I just don't know the date.
Okay.
It's gonna be this or next.
Okay.
Scheduling purposes, but we'll put something out.
Okay, thank you. Another reminder about the BDA's 5th annual Chocolate Walk, Saturday, May 13th from noon to 5. Tickets are on sale now at bedforddowntown.org. Get them before they sell out. Hopefully we sell out. Mike, the pool house still on schedule to open up on time? Looks like a lot of things going on down there.
So tentatively, project should be completed end of May.
Good deal. Another reminder, chipper service for May is the week of May 1st through May 5th. Make sure you call the service department to get on the list. And one thing that Mike touched on the schedule for the summer events. One thing that didn't make it was the community garage sale. We will have the community garage sale. It just didn't get on the schedule in time to make this posting. So look for that. Hopefully by the end of the month we'll have a date for that. And that should do it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Saunders.
As everybody has heard, Ward 6 is gonna get torn up pretty good this year, because we've got the water line going on Ennis, the water line going on Harriman, and the water line going on Lincoln. Now, I would assume all three streets will have temporary water lines, Mike. Are we letting the residents know that they are gonna get connected basically through an outside faucet off those mains? Is that how they're doing it?
I don't know, until we go through the full, pre-con meeting with the contractor, which is scheduled for Wednesday, I don't have all of those specifics, but any resident affected will get notifications.
Okay, because some of these people, well, I don't think anybody has sprinkler systems, so that's a plus. But it will be a slight inconvenience for the residents, but we're gonna be replacing these 1920 water lines that in some cases have been blowing quite a bit here. So we will get some improvements here in the ward. So just want to make sure that everybody's aware of the fact that be on the lookout if you're on those three streets, that you will be getting notifications for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's get going with our business here. Ordinance number 31-23.
Being an ordinance amending chapter 123 entitled Rules of Council of our codified ordinances of the city and declaring an emergency.
And we would like to put that on first reading. I have a motion for such by Saunders, second by Asbury. Just to go over it real quickly, we only had a few changes. Probably some of the big thing, I'm just gonna highlight them right now, is we're probably gonna start the new rules will be effective September 1st, after summer break, so give people some time to check it out. Big change will be, meetings will start at 7 o'clock instead of 8 o'clock. Some of this is bookkeeping stuff. Like I say, very few changes. An ordinance have to be signed by the mayor or other presiding officer, by the clerk, and the law director. The law director was added. There was in the old rule, and they dated back to 1932, so they needed to be tweaked a little bit. We used to have a lot of committees that were on the books. We don't operate by committee, we operate by council as a whole. I never saw the purpose of having committees when you got 7 people and have 3 people on a safety committee and 3 on a finance. Then they bring it back to council and then we all talk about it anyhow. It seemed kind of a waste of time. But we still left it in there if we need such, the mayor may appoint such other committees as she deems appropriate. The mayor may choose not to establish said communities and discuss matters at the committee of the whole. So, which is what we normally do. That was a change. Robert's Rules, it was the 1951 edition, now it'll be the latest edition of Robert's Rules that we use. Just trying to get the highlight. That's pretty much the big things that were in it, so not a lot of changes to the council rules. So, can I have a motion to put that on first reading? By Spink, second by Janutus. Call the roll, please.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Ordinance number 32-23.
authorizing the city manager to purchase a LifePak 15 V4 cardiac monitor defibrillator from Stryker EMS and declaring an emergency.
I have a motion for suspension by Saunders, second by Smith. Call the roll, please.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Fluharty, second by Spinks. Mike?
Mayor. This piece of equipment, the cardiac monitor, was something that we budgeted for this year. With that being said, there's a good chance that this piece of equipment won't come in until early 2024. So we wanted to go ahead and get this quote and get this in front of council as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's just a shame how long things are taking now to get done. The cardiac monitor and defib, that's kind of important. But we did get a new one last year, so we're not short on that. But this is, we'll have them on all three squads. Call the roll, please.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Ordinance number 33-23.
Is an ordinance declaring the real property and structure located at 64 Center Road a nuisance and condemning the property and ordering action and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension. Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Saunders, second by Asbury. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. Property, we've had violation notices on this property dating back last year. Property went through 2 separate tax foreclosure sales with no purchaser. It is currently $95,000 plus in arrears in taxes. We'd like to start the process. This is starting the process and in conjunction with the land bank, working to remediate the blight.
Call the roll, please.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Ordinance number 34-23.
Similar to the last ordinance, an ordinance declaring the property and structure located at 244 West Glendale Avenue a nuisance, condemning the property, ordering action, and declaring an emergency.
A motion for suspension by Smith, second by Asbury. Call the roll, please.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Fluharty, second by Spinks. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. Similar to the last ordinance, this property has had violations notices for some time. They are currently, the corporation that owns this home owns multiple properties throughout the city and walked away from these properties following the housing crisis. This one is currently $109,000 plus in arrears in property taxes, and this is allowing us to take the steps to remediate it.
Yeah, and besides just being arrears of taxes, these houses are really horrible shape too. Yeah. Call the roll, please.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty,
Yes.
Smith,
Yes.
Asbury,
Yes.
Saunders.
Yes.
Ordinance number 35-23.
Is an ordinance amending ordinance number 01723, authorizing an additional payment of $50,205.50 to the Ohio Department of Transportation for the federal project known as the state, as the city manager alluded to before, the State Route 14 rehab project, basically, and declaring an emergency.
I have a motion for suspension. Saunders, second by Asbury. Call the roll, please.
Cochee,
Yes.
Spinks,
Yes.
Janutus,
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Mike?
This is the, in regards to the Broadway Avenue project and specifically regarding the bid results. As I mentioned, the Shelley Company came in at the lowest bidder. They were about roughly $250,000 less than the next closest, which was Roniak Paving. Based off of the percentages that we're required to pay, which is 15% of the overall project, the difference comes out to be the city would be responsible for this additional cost of $50,000. Should we not agree to pay that, there is a strong possibility, actually, the project would not go forward. The state would reevaluate and go through the bidding process again, and there is no guarantee that they would come in lower. Our recommendation is for this amount of money to move this along so this project can start this year. Authorizing the payment to ODOT, which oversees the entire project. As it says, overall, it's a total of just over $3 million.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Ordinance number 36-23.
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a professional services contract with Industrial Appraisal Company for professional appraisal services of the city's assets and declaring an emergency.
Motion for suspension by Smith, second by Saunders. Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Spinks, second by Janutus. Mike? Where do you want this, John?
Are we on, I'm sorry, oh, we're on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is professional appraisals. This is what, we're required to do this to establish the value for insurance purposes on all of our structures, as well as equipment. And this is the contract that they'll work to identify those values.
Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Ordinance number 37-23.
Authorizing the city manager to participate in the and contract with ODOT for road salt for the 2023-24 year winter season and declaring an emergency.
Maybe that's why we had this, because of that snow today. Motion for suspension by Spinks, second by Fluharty. Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Motion for third and final by Saunders, second by Asbury. Mike?
Thank you, Mayor. This is authorizing us to partner with ODOT, who will be going out and bidding the salt contract. This allows us to obtain salt at the bid price. Part of that is we have to basically guess. That's what, being honest, we have to determine and give a rough guess of the tons that we're going to go through next year. Typically, we're always around 3,500, something like that, tons. This year, we're requesting to ODOT that we are looking for 2,800 tons. What they do is they compile all of those numbers and add it in and put it out to bid so they can secure the lowest price per ton when they add all of that up. So the challenge is that by coming up with that number, we are required to pay for 90% of that, one way or another. I can tell you we did come in a little under this year, so we have excess salt, which is why we're looking to go a little lower next year.
Thank you. Call the roll, please.
Cochee?
Yes.
Spinks?
Yes.
Janutus?
Yes.
Fluharty?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Asbury?
Yes.
Saunders?
Yes.
Now we come to the portion of hearing the citizens. If you wish to speak Please come forward, state your name, your address, and your comment.
Hello, my name is Mark Roberts. I live at 47 Woodrow. I'm sure most of you are aware of the situation we had this past weekend and has had since late last summer. My main gripe, which I know ordinance and laws and legislation has all cities handcuffed with the Airbnbs and the short-term rentals. That is not why I'm here. I understand that the owners are here as well, and we have discussed, and there's reason to believe that they might not have known that these things were happening. What I am here for is the reaction to these occurrences. We first been starting to call the police late August. Since then, not much was done. Because of this, I had a result to stay elsewhere on the weekends. So last fall, I decided to stay in a camper on Friday and Saturday nights in Auburn, which I'm building on 11 acres, which wasn't fun to do, telling your kids every weekend they have to go stay somewhere else because we don't feel safe. The last couple weeks, enough was enough. I've seen numerous criminal activity. I called on Friday, and I'm going to stick to just Friday's occurrences. I called on Friday at about 11:15 p.m. Cited that there was numerous girls fighting in the front yard. Please come. The problem is, they have scanners. They hear the call come in, and I saw Friday night a man pull the two girls by their hair into the house and told everyone to shut up. The cops came by, didn't get out of their vehicles, asked a couple of the gentlemen still on the road, was there fighting occurring? They said no. So we got a couple calls that there was people fighting. No, we're just having fun, we're all right. All right, man, just stay inside. Not even 10 minutes pass. Now there's 60 kids in the road fighting.
Did you say 60?
60. And I have an hour and 45 minutes of video of this whole thing. So now I call again. This time is when my gloves came off. I witnessed guns being loaded into trunks of vehicles, and I have on video in front of the cops, the vehicle fishtailing out of my driveway, through Washington, and continuing on at high speeds. I'm dumbfounded how there was, and I understand this pursuit, legalities of it, and let's address the situation that's going on there. Why chase? The cops then took more than an hour to gain control of 50 to 60 people. And while I'm standing on my front porch videotaping the whole occurrence, I'm seeing guns being stashed around the community. I am telling the sergeant, the officers, I'm visualizing guns being stashed in bushes. Not a single officer attempted to look for guns in the neighborhood. I have this all on video of me asking cops to do their due diligence and do what they signed up for. And know what their excuse is? There's not much we can do. You guys see, I'm shook by this. For this, I understand everyone has their handcuffs tied with these guns. And it's across the country. Some people should have them, some people shouldn't. That night, as far as the eye can see, criminal activity everywhere I looked. Assaults, gun violence, underage drinking. All the people you don't want to have guns have these guns. What can I do? For an hour and 15 minutes, nothing was done. It's all on video. The scariest part, after making sure my family was safe by calling my 72-year-old mother-in-law to come pick up my children because they're no longer safe in the city I grew up in. The worst case scenario was right in front of me. After loading my truck at about 4:45 in the morning, I hear two guys arguing on the corner about how dumb the other one is for stashing a gun. They don't know where they put it. So while I'm loading my truck, I see three guys walking through Bob Reed's rental property looking for guns in the bushes. I have 15 kids that play at my house in the summer. What am I supposed to do? If I'm telling the people that are supposed to protect and serve that there's guns getting scattered across the community and they don't do anything, who will? And know what they say, which is disheartening. The courts and the cops got to get on the same page. That's for the last 18 months. Every time, and guys, this isn't a single occurrence. My wife's car got stolen out of the front yard. Numerous gunshots night after night. The bar at the end of the street, it's not a safe neighborhood no more. And no one wants to do anything. Why? Why? Why watch this go on? And to be honest, I'm not doing this for me no more. I'm 2 months from living in where I want to live. I'm doing this for the neighborhood kids that play at my house. Why can't they be safe in this community anymore? Because the courts, the cops can't get on the same page? Because the cops, and listen, this isn't about, as much as I know that night things weren't handled appropriately, they're just as handcuffed as the guys that should have been that night. What can they do if the courts don't back them up? If the courts can't say, yes, if it's an Airbnb, if it's a public nuisance where citizens are at harm, put zip ties on their back, take every single one of their IDs and take these guns off the street. Why can't that be done? If all you guys are saying, and we're doing what we can, you guys are all lying to yourself. Plain and simple. So this is something I usually don't do. And like I said, I'm not doing this for me. I'm not doing this for my family. I'm doing this for Bedford. And if nobody wants to listen, I will make people listen. I'm not just sitting around and watching. So as much as I don't want this to be a super huge thing, something has to change. Keep these kids safe. Why should these kids be nervous? Why should I have to feel as a good human being, I need to contact that whole neighborhood and make sure that they know what I saw that night. There's things I don't even want to tell you guys what I saw. They put pistols in my garbage can and put AR-15s behind my shed. What do I do with that? They say, oh, kids will be kids? No, that's not how we should be living. And until this community bands together and does what they need to do, and it's not on them. They could have not known. It's on the citizens knowing that this ain't the same Bedford. Last year, I have a buddy that does spectrum splicing fiber. He calls me in the morning and says, Mark, I'm not trying to spook you out, but I was called to splice some lines in front of your house at Washington, and we had to file a police report because there was high caliber assault rounds that's what broke the fiber. When are people going to wake up and do something about this? It's sad that for an hour and 45 minutes, with 4 cops in front of my house, that my wife and kids still weren't safe while 4 cops were standing in front of my house. How is that possible? How is that possible? That could happen for an hour and 45 minutes. And the sickest part is, they know the occurrences that are going to happen. I have on video them hanging out the window with wads of money, offering BPD money to go away. Know what they do? They laugh about it. To me, that's bribing an official. That's rooms for action right there. Criminal activity as far as I can see, and no actions were made. Plain and simple. Is that acceptable? You guys, is it?
Of course not.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay. Who can respond for the homeowners of the property? This is my partner, Evan. First of all, I'd just like to say that we are.
We need your name and address first, please.
Oh, Corinne Kelly, 37175 Windy Hill Lane, Sylvan, Ohio, 44139.
Evan Peavy, the address is 43 Woods Road, Bedford.
So, first of all, we just want to say, we completely agree. I mean, it's entirely unacceptable. We do run an Airbnb there. You have said this has been going on for a while. We truly did not know. Regardless, now we do, and we will make sure it stops. We never got a call from the police. Even after this weekend, we didn't get a call from the police. Oh, Excuse me. I'm sorry. Regardless, I won't bore you all with the details of how it's booked on Airbnb and so forth, but we put in a request to Airbnb today. We let them know that there was a party going on here. I mean, the stuff that was happening is just absolutely not okay for the neighborhood and so forth. So we will do everything in our power to make sure that those do not happen anymore. So.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
How do these people approach, when they want to rent it, what do they tell you they're going to do?
So the way that it works on Airbnb is we get a booking come in. I went back after I heard this and I looked back at the bookings that come in, and it seems that we've had a mix. It seems that we've had a couple legitimate folks that have some good reviews and so forth. And then there's also the ones that I think are doing this. It's usually a woman's name. We can't tell, kind of what she is, but it usually says one or two guests. We list really clearly in the house rules on Airbnb that we don't allow parties of any kind. There's been a few people that have reached out to us and said, hey, we want to have, a poker night or so forth. And we've said, no, this is a family neighborhood, we don't do that. So I think we're relatively new to Airbnb. This is the only Airbnb we currently have. We have other long-term rentals. And so we weren't aware that people are like booking Airbnbs to have these parties. Now we know what to look for, and we just will make sure it doesn't happen anymore, but they just get booked on Airbnb. Yeah.
And just to add to, we haven't got a call from police, neighbors, anyone. I mean, we've never even had anyone even alert us to anything. I even spoke to my neighbor here, and me and him, we see each other regularly. We've never even had any type of communication of any of these things ever going on. He said he assumed that we knew, but we never had any type of understanding of this, and we agree.
I'm sorry?
I think we spoke today.
Were you the one that I spoke with
Yes.
today? Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, no, we truly did know this is an investment for us. This is how we make our money. So, the liability for us, clearly, this is a house that we furnish, that we've got, we want nothing to do with this. Let alone the fact that, I have kids myself, right? I don't want anything to do with this stuff going on. So, completely, I agree with everything.
May I interject a question?
Of course.
No.
Okay.
You'll have your turn.
Sure.
Okay. Any other questions for us?
No, appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
43 Woodrow.
If you'd like to approach.
Hi, my name is Brenda Monsko. I am at 303 Center Road, just down the way. And it's kind of maybe a silly question, but when you said that you have no idea what was happening, I know when I've used Airbnbs throughout the country, it takes quite an effort when I'm leaving to make sure that I leave it really nice and tidy. So are you letting me know that all of these bookings, they've left the property inside and out very nice, that you wouldn't have known that anything sort of untoward went on? These guys all clean up real nice?
I wouldn't say they clean up real nice, no. We have had some excess trash, right, which led us to believe that there was more than, one person, but never to the extent of what that was happening. No, No, but nothing has been broken inside. They've used more bed sheets and towels than we would have anticipated.
So there was maybe activity on your property or the resultant of the activity that would maybe clue you in that one or two guests wanting to see historic Bedford weren't really what was going on. I don't mean to be combative with you, but I'm also very passionate about, I'm almost 49 years old in a month, and I was born in this town, raised in this town. My father died 1 year ago, so I came back to take over his home. And I'm very concerned about all the different things that make this a really, really different feel, and a real lack of that sense of security and pride in this town that had been mine. So please know, I'm not meaning to be combative with you, but I like to challenge the idea a lot of us have willful ignorance to things around us. So I ask you to please not have willful ignorance or blinders on to what's happening there.
I think that is totally fair, and I would say that we expect that sometimes, like, instead of like, two people, maybe they bring four and they have their friend or a kid.
Sure.
I expect those things happen, and they kind of, I truly had no idea that the level at all, I mean, even that, 7 or 8 people were at the property was going on to these levels at all.
Well, I thank you for showing up, because a lot of people would duck. I spent a short time living in Solon as one of your community neighbors, and that's a great place too.
No, I mean,
So
we're
thank
trying
you.
to, again, I mean, yeah.
I believe I actually graduated from actually from the area as well, so I have a lot of pride in the area as well. But
Yeah.
as Corinne stated, I mean, I go to the house and clean these properties a lot of times. I mean, most of them have a broken pitcher or a broken stool or something, and that's nothing that would alert us to think that it was. I mean, I would think that we would even have a note on the door or just anything. We haven't had anything to indicate those type of activities. Let alone say 150 people or 60 people. That,
I thank you for coming, and since I had the chance to step up, and this is like way down on the scale from what you're experiencing. It was actually your post that got me here as the first time, and I hope to be back and be more involved. So 303 Center Road, I'm just 2 doors up from the mosque at Gould and Center. And so when we're concerned about, things that are provable, that can say maybe our community is changing and here's numbers or statistics that we can back that up with, or even that je ne sais quoi of things feel different. I don't feel, that as prideful, or I don't feel as safe, or I don't feel like we're the community that we used to be. Some of those things are intangible, but I think that we can agree that if you start breaking this down, that it's the small things that lead to a little bit of a bigger thing, that lead to, oh my gosh, something like this. And please know that I'm not picking on you guys, it's just a good example. So I'd like to offer the example where I live. And yeah, I'm hitting middle age, but I remember being in Bedford with, my Plymouth Volare blasting the boom box in the back. And I know that we've all been there, and you grow out of that. And even at this age, boy, I still like Metallica or the 2 Live Crew. I'm one of those weirdos, and I'll have a song on loud for a little bit. We all do that. However, at 303 Center Road, day and night, especially on the weekend, sure, because there's more traffic, but there are, as us old folks want to say, the booming systems coming down. And it really, really interrupts the peaceful neighborhood. I have a neighbor that maybe isn't my most favorite person. My other neighbor has been there even longer than my father was, which that property is in, my family name for 30 years. So we've got great people there, and we like it. And these booming systems come down the road, interrupting that peace. And, sure, kids will be kids walking by, but sometimes there's going to be big groups, and they're yelling obscenities at, if I have the name of the street correct, Southview and Center, there's like a 4-plex, a multiple family home or building. There's broken windows in that building that have been plastic over. And I stopped and took pictures to look, like, am I imagining that? It's these little things. I stopped, there was a police officer in the church parking lot just down from me one morning, so I stopped and I commented. I'm like, I know that it's really low on, safety and what police officers do, but I explained about the noise and the radios all hours of the night. He was very polite to me, but it was really quite a brush off. Yes, ma'am, thank you for telling me, we'll keep an eye out. Several years ago, we tried to do that, and we focused on it a little bit, worked a little bit, but you know, people be people. So I just want to offer to you that whatever we can do and whatever all of you can do for us, to please do take the little things seriously. Please do make comments to our police officers and, you know, Mr. Mayor, focus on that. It might not seem as big of a deal as a shoplifting down at the Dollar General, and yeah, it's not, but it is what helps lead to the shoplifting. It is what helps lead to the parties that we don't want to have where there are guns. So thank you for your time. I went on babbling a lot, but this is really important to me. I also lived out in Geauga County for many years while my father was aging here. I lived in Auburn. I'm eyeballing probably property really close to you. And I have a little camper, and honest to goodness, that is my plan. And watching what's happening in my beloved hometown, you guys, I don't want to stay here. I was born at Bedford Hospital. My aunt, Marty Motzko, was the superintendent of the schools. My heart is here. My father died in his home down the road. He was nearly a lifelong citizen since he was 3 or 4 years old. And ladies and gentlemen, I don't want to stay here anymore, and I'm looking to leave. And that's going to be, you know, another property of who knows, one of these, you know, these houses that are being demolished because they're picked up by these realty, whatever. Like, who knows? When folks like me are like, you know what? I can't put the time, money, and effort into the city that I used to love. It adds to it. So thank you for your time, everyone, and please give this a lot of consideration.
Well, I can assure you that those little things are high on our priority list. And the police are aware of that. And they do those, it's the old broken window theory. If one's broke, then the next door ones get broke.
Yeah.
We take that very serious. These other things, this is way, way more serious. And we do take it serious. And we're gonna look into more of that and what happened. And if you have video for the police, that would be great. But we do take all that serious because it is the little things that build up.
Yeah.
And I still think this is a great town to live in. I do not feel unsafe in my town. Unsafe in these instances, that's those things we have to become aware of, and then we can deal with them. When we don't know about it, no, I hadn't heard about it last summer, so. But we do take that serious.
Yeah, I get it, and you know, you're exactly right. Each thing leads to another, and this is not about me, this is about everything else, but just for instance, the one neighbor of mine that, you know, the parenting is just not there. So their dog and their children run my property and get up on my garage roof, and the police did respond when I asked them to. But this family doesn't care, and so their kids just keep doing this. And so yeah, if that neighbor doesn't care, then, you know, someone who moves in on that other side might care even less and even less.
Right.
And so myself and this great neighbor, we're both ready to go. And though I haven't physically been there the entire 30 years, we're a solid block of people who really take great care of things. And both of these properties have the potential to go empty in the next couple of years. But I'm repeating myself. Thank you for your time.
My name is Jennifer Roberts. I reside at 47 Woodrow Avenue. And I just want to say, aside from this weekend's events, long before our neighbor's house was an Airbnb, I feel unsafe in our neighborhood. I feel my children are unsafe in this city. And you're sitting here telling me this was a big problem. That brush off that she felt over a minor complaint, I felt that brush off from the police this weekend. I felt that we were treated as if we were the nuisance. Was my husband having high emotions during that time? Yes, because we were scared. And he was treated as if he was doing something wrong. We were treated with animosity and attitude from the police officers dealing with us when we encountered them. Prior to the time we encountered them, we've made multiple noise complaints, which we did anonymously because we didn't want our names over the scanner. We didn't want to be associated out of fear. We had then been told by the police officer that it was the reason that they couldn't do anything about the noise complaints was because we made anonymous complaints. If that is the truth, if they need our name in order to follow through with the complaint, why are our dispatchers not telling us this? Why was I allowed to make all of these anonymous complaints, not being told that that gave the complaint less power? That party, we called at least twice on that party before we called about the fight, and the police drove by and did nothing. And when we finally encountered them, we were treated as if we were the nuisance. They stood there and just watched, saying very little, these people dispersed, and we were being treated as if we were a nuisance. It was my honest feeling. But I think it's important that you know that you have people in this community. I did not grow up here like my husband did, but I have lived in our home for 14 years. I got married in that home. I had my children in that home, and I am afraid in that home, and not because of this weekend's events.
Hello, everyone. I'm Felicia Washington. I live at 97 East Interstate. I was not going to say anything, but since this has come up, I've lived in Bedford and Oakwood area all my life, Cuyahoga County. And I do understand, and I ditto what you say. I do believe Bedford is still a great place to live, but it has become a difference. And I think it's because a lot of people has not been held accountable for their actions.